Can you write? Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, see, when we did the worksheet, it's a blessed kid. And I did it with him.
Yeah.
No.
Frank involved.
And then I said, I went back to David and Joy. I says, David, do this with me. So,
Yeah, well, he's aware. The beer
Touche. Is he?
Yeah. So,
and this is what
yeah,
I did it
busy.
too.
Bill's crushing it.
Yeah, he's doing good.
So,
He's a hard worker.
Yeah, he's always been like that. Since I've only
what you just took care of.
but
Yeah.
he's doing good.
Has it been a year yet?
Huh?
Almost a year?
Yeah, it's been a year. He started in October
Thank you.
Yeah.
of last year, so just about a year
The
now.
year
think it's a good
flies by,
solution.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
right?
I'm surprised it doesn't have your name on there.
What's that?
It doesn't have your name.
I know, I never bothered getting back in. I never bothered getting back in somewhere.
It doesn't.
Oh,
have-
it's just a regular.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have.
You would have cheated.
Can I
don't even care
talk out of it yet? Any of these gotta be pre-approved?
We don't have
No,
a lot of
but-
the swag, Paul. Spend the money on
I
it.
printed
So.
everything.
Oh, did you guys have a copy
Yeah,
of Rita?
I don't have the communication.
Can I have one,
stuff.
please?
I just have
Another
the
one?
basic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the resolution, that's not the whole packet, because I
I have
didn't,
the treasurer's.
By the way,
That's it.
I might be able to give you more.
Yeah.
and we got into a little to-do because,
I saw another like reply only to
Oh, yeah.
read, so
and then I got the leg. So don't talk to me that way.
we'll just have to do next year the same.
Okay?
No, I hear you.
Well,
I know you're talking about.
she's not. Oh,
It is what it is.
it is what it
So
is.
easy, it's harder. Does that make sense?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a
Harder maybe.
that wings is for the third time
I've been cut
flying
up like a fish twice. I've been cut
to
up twice.
Boston again. They're gonna do it on.
I get that.
You got a good attitude, that helps too.
Yeah, okay. We get started? Lisa, we'll get started, just work, we're
This is
just
the
gonna go
work
through the
session.
work session, yeah, right, I know. So I have a proposal here, I'm just gonna bring this up, I don't know what it is yet, I haven't even, Lisa just gave it to me now, so this is for the, feasibility study, we just received it, what was the deadline, 4 o'clock today?
Yeah, that's why I
Okay.
figured I'd head up and see if anybody.
Now, we don't know if this is the one that said they were gonna get us an email by 4 o'clock, or they get us the electronic proposal by 4 o'clock, is this the same one?
Consult Econ?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yep,
That's it? Okay, so we believe this might be the only one that's coming in?
possibly.
Okay. So we'll have to look at this probably in committee?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm gonna just leave it here for now. I just wanted to make note of the fact that it came in, so we'll do a committee meeting to discuss that. We have a couple of public hearing notices from Amherst IDA and Clarence IDA. Nothing to do on those.
If anybody has questions, I do Clarence IDA, so I can
Okay.
always fill you in.
I'm going to address this in section, what is it? It's 2-C, the IRS revenue bonds audit. You'll also see on the agenda, where is it? New business. You'll see a retention, also under new business, 6C, retention of special counsel for ceiling device project. This has been, we just got a letter of engagement from Hodson Russ last night. It was almost 4 o'clock, so that's why I spoke with Kevin, and I didn't have him forward it to the board because I didn't want to generate any confusion. But ultimately, what's happened is, we got a notice, about a month ago?
Yeah, a little less than
A
that.
little less than a month ago, that the IRS was auditing some revenue bonds from ceiling devices. So I reached out to Paul, I reached out to Kevin, and this was a project that was induced back in November of 2016, is it?
Yes,
16?
Yes.
So I contacted Rich Grimm, because he was the legal counsel at the time, because it's not something that Kevin has any knowledge of or anything, and Jennifer Strong obviously didn't have any knowledge of it either. So I reached out to Rich Grimm and spoke with him. Initially, he didn't give us much. He just said, yeah, we acted as the legal counsel for that, but that's about it. Then I talked to Kevin, and we kind of dug a little deeper, and we found out that Hodgson Russ was hired by the IDA, or through Rich Grimm to be the bond counsel. They represented both sides in this. They represented ceiling devices and the IDA in this bond issuance, okay? The IDA, I believe, signed off on that, correct? At the time. So we thought, after Kevin and I were talking, and after we didn't get much out of Rich Grimm, and not that, he just didn't know, right? So ultimately, he gave us a contact over at at Hudson Russ to, who was the bond counsel at the time for this issuance. So Kevin spoke to, who's the person you spoke to over there, Kevin?
Well, initially I spoke with Joe Scott.
Okay,
who I
right, he was the one that, he
worked
was the
with
name
on
that
other
we
similar
got
deals,
from
yeah.
Rich Grimm,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And then we decided that the best thing to do, because the IRS has been calling, they called Lida, they called Mike Stegmeyer, they were calling around trying to say, okay, this deadline's coming up, right? Ultimately, we had to make sure that we have the right people to handle this audit. So this resolution that we're going to, that's on the agenda today is to engage Hodgson Russ for this audit. Kevin, do you want to explain a little bit about the engagement letter then?
Sure. And I think that Dino's explanation is a good one. I would start with, though, going back to just the request here. I mean, the audit will, or the IRS will from time to time audit tax-exempt bonds. So that's what they're doing here. They sent us a 6-page letter with a request for documentation and responses. As a matter of course, because it involves, the borrower, which in this case is Sealing Devices, they're going to be involved anyways. So when we interfaced with Hodgson on this, they're still counsel to Sealing Devices. So this actually kind of works pretty well because Sealing Devices really has an obligation to respond to this anyways. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be seamless from that standpoint. And when Dino and I were talking about this, it didn't make sense for my firm to get involved with this because you already have someone who did the deal in 2016 and has real good knowledge of this. And frankly, they handle IRS audits. So I'm personally comfortable with bringing them to the board, and we've had those discussions. We did get the engagement letter late last night. It might have been closer to 5.
Was it? Like I said, I know it was at least, it was actually after 4 because
yes.
when I talked to you.
So, and I have a copy here. If you guys want me to circulate, I can do that. It is a fairly standard engagement letter. They are disclosing that they also represent Sealing Devices. But again, that's consistent with how the IDA utilized their services the first time around.
And Kevin, I'm just going to ask you this out, so it's kind of out here. I'm not exactly sure. What is in general? What is the IRS looking for when they're doing these type of audits?
Well, they're going to examine whether the way the paperwork is structured satisfies the requirements for being tax exempt. So, in speaking with the Hodgson Russler, they're going to look at the tax regulatory agreement that was executed as part of the closing, and really make sure that all of those I's were dotted and T's were crossed. Okay. So that's really the goal of this.
So is there any? I guess is there any?
If in answer to all your questions, I have a copy here. It calls the examination process.
Right.
You can actually read from this.
My question, actually, this is more of a legal question, Paul. I guess. Does anything fall on the IDA in this situation? In other words, is there liability on our side for this audit?
No, actually, and this is addressed in the engagement letter, Sealing Devices has an obligation to indemnify the IDA.
Okay.
So I think that should be of some comfort. Remember, the risk here, they're the ones that got the benefit of the tax-exempt financing. That's what right? So that's where the risk falls, is with the borrower or the company in this case. So no, this is something that needs to be done.
Right.
I don't think it's out of the ordinary, by the way. I wouldn't, look at this and say, geez, why are they looking at this particular bond? I think it goes through a process, and it's no different than if you get selected for a personal audit.
Right.
There's just...
It's just, right.
It might be they might have just called your number.
Right, okay, all right. I just want to make sure that, I thought, like I said, I didn't think there was anything that falls on our shoulders, but I wanted to make sure. Okay, so we can move on from that. I just want to make everybody aware, this is how this kind of unfolded. The deadline initially was October 24th, I believe.
Yes, I spoke with the agent.
Yeah.
And just, introduced myself and explained what proposed plan was. I explained that the board doesn't meet until today.
Right.
And, there's a soft deadline in those documents. And I think, assuming the board moves forward with retaining Hodgson, I think that's the first order of business for them, is to just get a little bit more time and start digging into it. So.
Okay. What else? letter of recommendation, what is this one here for, Village of Lancaster, 21st Century?
That was just what you sent in. So it's a copy of the letter that was
Okay.
sent.
All right. Mike's here now. Mike just got vouchers and the proposed budget. You want to speak on that for a minute or give us any updates on that?
There wasn't any feedback for any suggested changes, so
Right.
I sent out an email to everyone with all of my comments, so unless you had any questions, I'd recommend approving it
So-
today so that it can be filed.
I have a question, and I apologize that I literally, right before this, just sent everybody an email. Dave Manjoya finally got back to me and had a proposal. He's looking for us to schedule a separate meeting that we can meet with him and ask questions, but I wasn't sure if we're looking to go towards that, how that would affect our budget for next year.
It doesn't necessarily have to affect this, the way it's proposed.
Okay,
I feel like there are, for example, there's $2,500 here for billing administration, but that's already covered in the $30,000 paid to the town because Lisa's salary is paid by the town.
So-
there's some wiggle room in there, and it's similar to like we do with the village if you want to allocate
On
fund
a side.
balance next year as you determine what you want to do, and then we would adjust it going forward from there.
so what his proposal is to get everything up to organization-wise, like to get us up to where we need to be. He's putting in, at least for today, a $40,000 fee and then an ongoing administrative function if we would be utilizing like the back end or front end of the
And you said you
IDA.
sent us that in an
I
email?
just did, and
okay.
I'm so
just wanted
sorry
to
for
look at it.
for the very last minute, but, so I wasn't sure if we would edit it afterwards, or if this is the direction we think we're going.
If you felt strongly today that you wanted to amend it today, you could, when approving it, you could say with an additional added expense of X number of dollars for this purpose, or you could approve it as is and amend it throughout the year from there.
Okay, okay. To me, it makes sense to amend it after we've had the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to do that today then, right, Mike?
No, you
Right.
want to adopt the budget
As is, right, and then we can amend it down the road.
down the road as you need to.
Okay. All right. Paul, you want to talk about the Lucas James? Is Don Alessi's coming here today?
Lucas James is the developer. He's the guy that's doing the actual project.
Right.
His attorney is Donald Alessi. He'll be here at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
To talk about the project. We're in talking to and working with Kevin. This has been, Alessi drives me out of my mind, number one. It's once every week, so. But anyhow, to make a long story short, this is not for approval. This is just for introduction.
Right.
So that you understand what they're doing.
Right.
And then we will look for a public hearing whether or not you decide to go forward for the November board meeting.
Okay.
That's what today is going to be talked about.
And you
I
already-
I just worked with Kevin regarding my worksheet that I do.
Yeah.
And Mr. Alessi wanted a 7-year pilot, and I told him no, because he doesn't fit.
Right.
And it's a 5-year pilot, and that's all. That's the best I can do for him.
Okay.
And I've got that all in writing, which I just showed to Kevin. So it's nothing to pass before the board. It's just the regards to the terms of the pilot.
Okay.
And along with sales tax and mortgage recording tax.
Okay. Kevin, you want to talk about this lease subordination agreement?
Yes.
Don?
You guys might recall at the last meeting, there was kind of a late file almost, right? Where
Yep.
we were trying to work through literally at the table, a possible lease subordination. The board approved the lease subordination, assuming that that's what I saw when I got there, essentially, to kind of short arm it. There's a little hiccup here that we're trying to work through, and that is that I am not able to track down signed lease documents for this transaction, which is what the lender needs in order to get this company through its next round of financing, which is the lease, where we would subordinate the lease. So I've been working with former counsel on this and company counsel to track those documents down. We haven't gotten them yet. So hoping to find them. It was a pandemic closing, so I have a feeling that that might have caused some of the difficulty here. So we're working our way through it.
That's the one that That's the Premier Mortgage, right? Is that the
No,
one?
it's a pursuit.
Uh,
Right,
what-
yes. with Michael.
Yeah, that's the one, that's the reason why they're having us to sign off. That's the one that we worked at, is the 504 program, where the bank does 50%, the SBA 504 does 40%, and then 10% equity, and that's the reason why all these documents have to be sent. So we've been working with Mike Taylor, who was the loan officer regarding this.
This is the-
There's
this
no
is-
problems with it, Kevin took all good care of it, so it's just a matter of us just doing what we have to do.
Well, yes, I haven't done anything with it.
Right,
I mean,
not
this
yet, as of
is-
yet, right.
I'd like to have something happen with it, but I'm really looking for documents that should have been signed as part of closing.
Okay, so do we have to act on this? We don't have to
There's
act on
no
this
action
at all
on
today?
this, this is
No
a
action on it.
reporting item only. It really only because we talked about it the last time.
Yep.
I wanted to make sure that it brought you up to speed on where it went.
Okay.
On that.
Just curiosity, check the files upstairs.
I think those
got-
were, well, the first contact on this file was Lisa. And I assume that was a question that was asked at that
Oh,
time.
okay.
But Kevin, it's a good point. I mean, we should come back here.
Yeah, 'cause
I've
I
not
think
been
she-
upstairs.
She's got boxes up there, I don't know
Yeah.
what's in them, on all of them, so.
Yeah, I
You've
don't,
checked with the bank already?
Pardon?
The bank have any?
I
Any?
mean, council would have these,
They should, right.
They should have them. And remember, everything was closed. They closed this deal in December of 2020.
Yeah.
Nothing's open. It's a holiday closing, so, who knows how that worked from that standpoint. But we are still pursuing.
Okay. Let's see, what else? New business, this lease termination, Fairways.
This
Kevin?
is perfunctory. When a lease ends, we file terminations. I sent these on to Lisa at her request, and she put it on the agenda.
Is it, we don't have to?
There's no action
There's no
that has to
action.
be done. The
Why is it
project
not?
has been closed out.
Okay,
Okay.
That's the Tony Catalia project right there, where the old golf course used to be on
Okay,
Genesee
right.
Street. That's what this is one of us about. So
Okay.
we've worked with it, it's a done deal, Dino.
okay. So all we really have to pass today, Kevin, is the
Item C
item C, right?
of 6, yes.
And then, to correct the tops. Do you want to discuss that here, Kevin, or?
Sure, I'll
Tops
just,
agreement?
Mike, jump in, please, because I think you got into this as well. Well, I mean, the long story short is the IDA, prior to this board coming on, approved a 5-year extension of the pilot with TOPS. This is probably in September or December. And when the pilot documents were put together, there was an error in the pilot extension agreement. And the result is that the school district issued a pilot bill that was twice the amount that it should have been. So TOPS contacted, I don't know if they contacted me first, or Paul, or Mike, one of the three of us, but we've all been working on that piece. And the school district understands that the pilot agreement's going to be amended to clean that up. So that's what we're doing, is I'm going to clean up the pilot agreement. TOPS council has been great on this, and the school district as well.
And it was a mistake done by TOPS. Mike Beeler, who was the attorney that I've talked to several times, he admits that they made the mistake, and it's been rectified, so everything is done, Dino.
Sorry about that, I just had a question for David.
That's okay.
That's about it.
I had a couple of things. One of the things I wanted to ask is, I know that Lisa sent out the email asking for our intentions for next year, but I still was hoping to send a formal letter on my behalf to the town board. Is that okay, or
Yeah,
you?
sure, you can
And
do
is that
that.
something we should all be doing? I wasn't,
It's, if you want to be reappointed, I think you should send letters to the town board, just like you did initially, except for you, Shannon, we chased you down.
yeah, you asked me. Okay, and then, I know we had discussed it a couple of times about trying to bring a proposal to the town about the staggering of terms
Yeah.
here. What is the game plan for that?
I really don't have one at this point, I haven't
Thank you.
given it much thought as far as what we should do on that, so maybe we should start, discuss it in a committee meeting.
Okay.
So, like, I don't think we've settled on anything, but I know Paul said that the Amherst IDA does 7-year appointments, they stagger their appointments.
Yeah,
there.
what they do is,
Right.
when you're appointed to the board, they do it for 7 years, and then you automatically go off. Okay, they don't reappoint you, but it's a 7-year term that they give you.
Right. And are they all like that?
Pardon me?
Are they all 7 years, they're just staggered?
All 7 years.
All 7 years
Yeah.
just staggered, okay.
That's a long commitment. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's.
no, I don't, well, that's why I said I think we should discuss it at the
right.
committee meeting, but right. Yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to commit for 7 years, but certainly,
So that discussion would happen in which committee?
probably governance.
Okay. And then that would happen in November. We'd bring the proposal to the town in December or late November to see if they would try and change the way that they do things, and then they would, because by January, they're going to be appointing.
Does that, Kevin, is that affected, I don't think it has to be, I don't think the town board has to do anything on that, would they? If it's this board that's deciding what the terms are?
No, I don't know that we have that, the IDA has that
think so.
authority.
So you
I
think
this
that
is
the
all
board
town
would
board.
set that?
I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so-
We would be drafting a proposal
Right.
to the
So
town.
if we're gonna do that, we would have to get that to them by December, so that they could get it on the agenda for the organizational meeting in the first week of December.
At least.
Yeah,
Okay, so if we could add that into unfinished business, just as a bullet point, so we
Yep.
remember.
okay.
And then in the compliance calendar, Kevin, we had put for November that the audit committee should meet with the auditor to come up with the audit plan. Is that still when it should be happening?
Well, you should have some, like, engagement of the auditor, right? Because I don't think you have an auditor on for next year yet. Is that
They
right?
provided an engagement letter.
Okay. Okay, so does that go to the board then to get approved?
Yeah, I forwarded it to the chair and the
Okay.
secretary, so I don't know at what point it goes to the whole board to review.
Okay.
So that's,
That's probably an action item for November.
For
You could-
November's meeting, okay.
Right?
Which council, I'm sorry?
so for audit committee,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
looking at engaging the auditor.
Yeah.
And then, do we have
You
time?
guys don't, the new board does.
Understood.
Right,
Okay.
right.
You don't need a letter until the new board decides who they want.
Right.
I still think having those plans in place so
Yeah,
that
it certainly
that
can come as a
transition-
recommendation from this board, right, but the new board will have to act on that.
Yep, agreed. And then, do we, so Dave is asking for a meeting. I know I spoke with Dino briefly about trying to find a time
How does that work out?
near
The
impossible.
20
He said afternoons work. So he
Okay.
said pretty much next week is not good for him.
Right.
The
What
only
day did we
you
say,
were-
the 28th?
The only day you were available, I think, is the 28th.
Right,
So
okay. So what time did he say? I'll put it in my calendar now.
to do 3 o'clock, I don't know what the
3
rest of the board's
Yeah, okay, I put that in my,
availability is. And then I had asked if he would come to Lancaster, because at first he's like, well, you can come see me. I was like, oh, maybe.
so he's gonna come here?
If everyone, yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
on
if
the
he's willing to,
28th.
correct.
Okay,
So we would need to set that as a work session, special meeting?
yeah, probably just a work session. We probably have to make a public announcement for that.
What day is it?
The 28th,
November?
this month, no, this month.
Dino, I had several meetings with Dave Manjoya regarding this, and he's putting it together regarding the proposal and everything that he has. He hasn't done it yet, because I just met with him the other day, and he's going to be looking at the dollar amount that he's going to be charging to do the initial one, and then what his monthly fee will be and whatever for the governance, whatever.
Right.
So David is working on it, and he's asked me to help him with it, so we've been working on it. It's just a
Okay.
matter of
Right.
him finishing the item.
But we have to make a public announcement that we're gonna be meeting if there's gonna be more than 3 board members here, so, for that, it's gonna be on the
Oh, yeah,
28th at 3
yeah,
o'clock.
I didn't know if it was
No, I'm just looking
governance or
around.
the whole.
No, I hope it's
Yeah,
the
no.
whole
The whole
board,
board.
for sure.
Yeah, if you wanna be here, you can be here, yes, but if we're gonna have more than 3 members, Kevin, you're saying you'll be here, I'll be here.
I'll be
Lynn,
here.
you'll be here, Dave will be here,
I'm available.
you're available, so yes, we'll have to make an announcement for the 28th at 3 PM.
Okay, great.
And this is for what? A special meeting for?
Yeah, special meeting to discuss with Amherst, the proposal, that's the thing that you sent me, that he
Correct.
just emailed. I don't know the details of it, so I haven't looked, like I said, Lynn just sent me the email, so I don't know
Here?
what's in there.
Are you gonna make it at 4 o'clock?
3 o'clock, I thought.
3 o'clock?
3
3
o'clock.
Okay.
When they gonna
Well, no,
do
just
this?
we
What's the
get it.
date?
Here?
October
Yes.
20th.
Yeah, if you want to be here, yeah, okay.
So this 23 budget, are we voting on that today, or do we vote on that in November meeting?
You're gonna vote on
I think it has to be
Today?
Right,
Needs to be
okay.
filed by November 1st.
Oh, that's what it was, okay, so we need to
Okay.
vote on it today, okay.
Right.
That's what I want, okay, thank you. Anything else?
Well, I've got a couple of questions, only because in the past, the prior board meetings, I had kind of requested, let's take a look back at what projects were still open and everything. And not to knock anybody, but we got a project here none of us knew about, and it's been closed. I mean, it's not bad for Lancaster to close that project out, which was a bunch of patio homes, but I didn't even know that this project existed. And
project is it?
The Fairways. That was opened in 2015. You should be familiar with it. You were on the board. They built a bunch of patio homes. Now we get a letter saying Erie County, they closed it out early. I read it, and I'm going, I didn't even know this project was an LIDA. How many more projects do we have like this that anybody's working on that we're not aware of?
Paul, you recall that, 2015?
That was 2015 when it was initiated.
Sure.
And it was going to go to 2026.
In Genesee, you're saying, right, the patio
The
homes?
one by Linguini's. And they closed it, that's fine. But none of us even knew that this project was open.
Do you have an inventory of the projects?
No, and that's
Right.
what I'm saying.
That's what
This
you're
is what
talking
we're
about.
trying to find out why. I mean, I don't mind that it closed, but it was kind of like, I didn't even know we had an LIDA on that property.
In my discussions with Dave yesterday, before he sent the email, that's what he said is so challenging about this board, and that's what we would be looking for Amherst, right, to do, to pull on. He's saying that there's, appears to be roughly 40 projects. So that administrative arm that we've been missing, that's what we would be finding out
And this is
from.
part of the thing. This was
Huge
already
part.
supposed to have been done. We were paying people to do this, and it wasn't getting done. We had administrative people in the past, and this is where I'm
Correct.
saying, I understand the problem. I'm just trying to reinforce
The
my
importance.
concerns about past projects.
Yes.
Like I said, it's good, it's closed, we're out of it, and that's a good thing. The other kind of question I have is everything, Kevin, that you're sending us is in, what is it? It's not in Word, so we can't change any documents if we had to. Everything is
What documents have I sent to you, Kevin?
well, not me personally, but talking with Lisa and that, we're getting documents that are in PDF form, and they can't be altered.
What's the issue with that, Lisa?
What's the problem, Kevin? What do you mean?
Applications, we should be able to, once that document's created, it should go in a file into her office, so future people, if it has to, can be modified.
Okay.
This is a document that was drafted by them, but we paid for.
Oh, it's a protected file, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, what we...
PDF is a protected file, but still, that's our file.
Well, the application is online. It's a fillable form now, which we never had before. So that's an advancement, and it helps the companies fill the forms out. We had done stuff by paper, but to be honest, and what I saw when I got into this file was folks filling out different versions of the application. So I'll give you an example. When we got Don Alessi's first application, it was, I think, 22 pages. Yet the one that's posted at the website is 36. So one of my thought processes on this was we need to make sure that we have the same document so that when Paul goes out, because Paul does this on a more traditional way, he brings a paper application to the company. Well, that's fine as long as you're getting all the pieces of paper back and your records are correct. Uniformity in your application is critical. That's what the law requires. So to be honest, like missing pieces of the paper or missing parts of the document, no one should be playing with those Word documents.
Correct, I agree.
Shouldn't happen. So that's the position.
Playing with them. The point is you are no longer the attorney, and you created the application for the LIDA board. He's saying it should be in a Word format, that if we want to change.
Oh, you can have it.
the fee-
Oh, no,
You
I
can
don't-
absolutely have it.
I don't want it. I'm saying she should be able to access, one person should have access to that file, and that would be whoever we choose to get that file. That's my
Sure,
hope.
absolutely. Anything that we generate is yours.
Yeah.
I don't have any objection to that at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not
It's-
saying, I don't want to change any document whatsoever, even if we got an off-site computer. One
Right.
person manages it, I want to be able to look at it, go in, get out, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the documents themselves should be able to be, in
A
sort
PDF, you can always take a PDF and simply convert it.
You can if
it-
they're locked.
I'll show you, it's very
It's
easy.
not locked. I mean, I can give it to you.
Yeah. It's not a patent, it's not a trademark.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
I understand what
We
he's
gotta get
saying.
started.
You guys ready?
We gotta start the regular meeting, so.
That's okay.
Stand up.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Public hearings, none, Paul?
None.
We don't need to schedule one now, though, for this time for the
November one.
project? Okay, we don't have to do that here, though.
Well, that's based on the introduction that they're gonna make today, okay?
Okay.
And then, see, what I do is when I gave Alyssa the application and everything else, I don't do anything with that application until Kevin gives me the
Right,
go-ahead.
okay.
So legally, everything is done before it even gets to you guys.
Okay.
Before he even does the public hearing, we make sure that all the documents are prepared.
Right,
But
okay.
the initial document is presented by me. It's that simple.
Okay. Lisa, you want to take the roll, please?
Chair, Graham Mazzani, is excused.
He sent an email just before I was on my way here and said he couldn't make it, something with his daughters. I don't remember the details, but yes, he's not going to make it.
Member Lee Master,
Here.
Member McNichol,
Here.
Member Reno,
Here.
Member Ruda,
Here.
Member Tadaro.
Here.
Chair Cador.
Here. Okay, I need someone to approve the previous minutes from the September 9th meeting.
Motion to approve is
Motion by
presented.
Member Ruda.
Second.
Second by Member Reno. Lisa, take the roll, please.
Member Lee Master,
Here, yes.
Member McNichol,
Yes.
Member Reno,
Here.
Member Ruda,
Yes.
Member Tadaro,
Yes.
Chair Cador.
Yes, here. Or yes, I'm sorry.
You're here?
I goofed. I was looking-
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, some communications, so the treasurer's report, Mike?
So I forwarded out the treasurer's report earlier in the week, showing at the end of September and still current, a balance of $1,607,166.86 in the checking account. We had pending vouchers, which have been approved by the treasurer, $5,242.10, for an adjusted balance of $1,601,924.76. And I also did receive just today the $500 check from Lucas James for their application fee, so that'll be deposited and added to the account. Other items to report on, pilots. We did have the school pilot billing. Everything went well. There was one issue you mentioned during the work session with Tops Markets. It was extended for 5 years, but when the schedule was put together in the addendum, they didn't start the school billing extension until next tax year, so that resulted in a calculation of 100% this year, but the intent was 50%, which the school district understood, so I worked with them and they sent out a revised billing, and so that's been taken care of, and they just want documentation with a revised agreement so that everything will be tidied up the way it was intended. Town and county pilots, calculations, the spreadsheets are all set with the pilots for the current year, so it's just pending. When the budgets are adopted by the town and the county and the tax rates are set, then I'll be able to put those tax rates in the spreadsheet and it'll automatically calculate, and then I can forward it over to the billing administrator to prepare and send out the bills. So just waiting for the tax rates to be approved and we'll be right on top of it this year. The budget, you have a proposed budget in front of you for 2023. We need to file that with the state by November 1st, so unless you had any changes, it would be appropriate to approve that today so that that can be filed and posted on the website. And then audit services, as I had mentioned, Drescher and Malecki have provided an engagement letter for performing the audit of the current year after it's over. So that is available for your review ahead of time.
Okay, anybody have any questions? No?
Excellent.
Okay,
So, yeah, the only action item that would be to
to approve the
budget.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. So I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Motion.
First, motion by Member Lee Masters, second by Member Reno. Lisa, please take the roll.
Member Lee Master,
Yes.
Member McNichol,
Yes.
Yes.
Member Luda?
Yes.
Member Tadaro?
Yes.
Chair Freeland?
Yes.
I don't know if you want to go back to 2 and just put it on record, what's on paper? Because you skipped 3. Skipped the 3, you forgot the communications.
We communicate, well,
Just motion to
we don't
receive and
have,
file.
just motion to receive and file, okay.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to receive and file the communication.
For communications, second by Member McNichol. Lisa, please take the roll. Sorry, Kevin. Thank you.
Member Nemaster?
Yes.
Member McNichol?
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Luda?
Yes.
Member Tadaro?
Yes.
Chair Freeland?
Yes. Okay, and we have the budget, the 2023 budget, as Mike had discussed. We reviewed that. I need a motion to accept the proposed budget.
Make a motion.
Motion by Member
Second.
Reno, second by Member Tadaro. Lisa, please take the roll.
Member Nemaster?
Yes.
Member McNichol?
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Luda?
Yes.
Member Tadaro?
Yes.
Chair Freeland?
Yes. Okay, and as far as the committee reports, we did put out an RFP from the governance committee for a feasibility study. We just received one proposal.
Yeah, so I think if we've received one proposal, there should be a copy for all of the board members if we want to distribute those.
Yep.
And I would almost wonder if we're going to be meeting on the 28th, if we want to meet on both issues, that way we could possibly have action in November.
Mr. Chair, just to make everybody in the board comfortable, this is Mr. Don Alessi, who is the attorney for the file that we're going to be talking about after this meeting.
Thank you.
We need that.
I think he's got enough.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so that'll be October 28th at 3 o'clock.
October
We'll also
28th at
discuss
3 o'clock, we're going to meet to discuss this proposal as well as the proposal that we received from the Amherst IDA for services. That's it from committees. Unfinished business, as Paul had said, Don Alessi is here to speak about the Lucas James project. Don, would you like to speak?
Is Don, is Mr. James going to be here?
He said he was coming.
Okay. He's the,
Maybe he had trouble getting in the door like I did. I could begin if that's okay with the board.
Sure.
My name is Don Alessi, as Paul Leone had mentioned. If I may, I'd like to hand this out.
Yeah,
Can I
pass
do
it out,
that? I appear on behalf of Lucas James, LJ Construction, who is the developer in this matter. I know that most of you are familiar with this location. Mr. James wanted me to make the presentation to give you somewhat of an overview with regard to what the project is all about. I've had the pleasure of working with Kevin Zanner over the last several months with regard to the application, and I think it's in a form that can be and may be presented to the board for its consideration and approval. As I said, the familiarity that you have with this location is no doubt very great. It's at 5827 Broadway. It is the location of the former Desiderio restaurant, which unfortunately burnt down a number of years ago. And at present, it's a vacant lot. As you can see from the photograph that's part of that mini packet that I just presented, it's an assembly for
you got a copy, haven't you?
trucks and various other things. And what Mr.
But I just wanted to let you know.
James proposes would be an immediate approval of that improvement, to that site, that location. As you can see from the rendering, it's going to be a very lovely mixed-use building that will, as I say, provide an immediate improvement to that location. The mixed use is that there's going to be a restaurant, a coffee shop type restaurant. It's an 18,000 square foot mixed use building. The upper floors will be 6 apartments. The lower floors will be 2 ADA-approved apartments for a total of 8 apartments in the project. There will be 3 professional/retail spaces on the first level. And it's going to be a very upscale type of apartment complex, apartment building. The apartments will be available for a minimum 1-year lease. And they will be, as I say, state-of-the-art with regard to the fixtures that are in the kitchen and bath and the number of bedrooms that we'll have there. It will be very, very, very well enhanced, and will be a real treat because of the upscale nature of the apartments. In addition to the apartments, the retail space, and the coffee shop, the significance of this building, in addition to the improvement that it presents, is that it's going to be a green project, and also will have a roof-mounted solar electrical system to provide energy not only to the building, but back to the grid. So this will be very much in light of what has been hoped for with regard to development, that development considers or has a consideration for the environment. The fact that the roof-mounted solar system will be a state-of-the-art system, I think, is something else that further enhances this entire project. And although I know that the IDA board will not be considering it for approval this evening, I wanted to give you an overview to put some bones on the structure, to give you some ideas to what it's all about. And hopefully when we come back, we can be here for a favorable approval.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Mr. Alessi, does the Lucas James already have anyone in mind that would be leasing any of the spots?
The coffee shop, yes.
Okay.
The coffee shop, yes. The other apartments, he's been negotiating with a number of people, but because of the time it's taken for the development, other than pictures, there's not a whole lot.
It's always nice to see a building go up and you already have a tenant already.
That's the hope, that's the plan.
Yeah, okay, good, thank you.
Who is the coffee shop that's interested?
The name of it?
Yeah.
That I don't have. Although I know he's been negotiating.
We're not talking about not a Tim Hortons.
No, it's not a name brand.
There's no drive-through from what I see, correct?
Yeah, there's a drive-through.
There is a drive-through.
Yeah.
Where is this?
It's not a,
Okay.
Where is the project currently in the approvals process with the town?
it's pending town board approval.
Okay. So
It's
gone
been through the planning board and the zoning board,
Yes.
all that?
Right.
This is coming up Monday on the agenda. I've seen the agenda.
That's correct.
Okay.
Now, on the commercial end of it, what would be the approximate sizes of the different businesses on the commercial?
They're approximately 1,000 square feet,
Each,
each of the 3 units,
okay.
the 3 rental units.
Any other questions?
Not
Okay.
for Mr. Alessi.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin, would you be able to just remind us of what the stipulation is for mixed use for an IDA approval? Is it a 1/3, 2/3? Is that what it is?
Yes.
In
right.
terms of square footage or number of units?
It really goes to project cost. So, Don mentioned that we'd had several conversations, and, their application went through several iterations, frankly, because we were looking for more information on that. But they have provided, you'll see it in the application, a breakdown of the project cost. It shows that the non-retail aspects of this project, which the idea is restricted from inducing,
Correct.
is more than the 66% that you need. So there's retail elements of this, but they've presented information to this board that would suggest that the numbers are below the retail restriction. to answer your question.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So it's in compliance.
That's right.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Paul, do you want to add anything to that, or no?
We've had several meetings with this one, and at first, we were hearing rumors that a lot of the residents didn't want this thing to happen because they thought it was going to be like a hotel type of thing, and it's not.
Okay.
So what I did is I must have had 12 meetings with Don Leslie, okay? Seriously, that's so, well, Kevin knows that, but I would not give him anything to go forward with until Kevin gave me the authority to go ahead.
Right.
So that's the reason why, but we asked him to present it to you so that you had an idea what he was looking at, so that if we do the public hearing in November, you have the know-how of what this is going to be.
Okay.
And looking at it, we've covered all our bases, and the 1/3 retail, that's part of the law and all this other stuff that goes with it. So it's been a long, drawn-out thing. This goes back, what, maybe July or August or something?
Yes.
So it's been several meetings, and it's one that we weren't really happy with, but they have proved to us that legally, it's a go project.
Okay. And they initially wanted 7 years, but it only fits the.
This is only going to be a
5-year pilot.
I just showed Kevin the worksheet that I did, and Mr. Leslie did it with me, and we determined that it's only going to be a 5-year pilot,
Right.
not a 7 or not a 10. It's only going to be a 5-year pilot based on the worksheet that I did,
Okay.
and I just showed it to Kevin, and Kevin was happy with that also.
Okay.
Okay, just out of curiosity, from my own, I guess, stupidity, the best way to put it is, you say they're under the retail, the downstairs is complete retail, so apartments and that are not considered retail?
They're not. That's exactly right.
Who are on the first floor ADA compliant, 2 apartments are on the first floor.
First floor,
Yeah.
and then there's going to be 6 upstairs. But you're having, so the retail businesses are going to be 3,000 square foot out of the whole thing.
18,000.
But apartments, okay, I guess that's the
It
way the
doesn't-
state looks at it. To
doesn't go
me, it's
by-
retail.
It doesn't go by that, it goes by cost, project cost, the percentage of the
No,
cost.
I'm just saying, I don't know how it complies, because you're talking apartments. You've got other apartment buildings there that didn't get IDA.
Right.
I personally don't feel that apartments qualify for IDAs. That's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, it's a good question, Kevin, and there's a lot, but it's pretty settled that IDAs can do mixed-use projects as long as the retail component of those projects doesn't exceed that threshold. So, but that's a historical thing. I mean, and, you know, the folks here who may have served on the ECIDA board, there was always a debate there about whether they should do housing. They're now doing housing projects too.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah.
but that, I mean, again, the name is industrial, right? That's the point, right?
Yeah.
But it is under the law eligible.
I don't
from that
remember
standpoint.
doing any apartment projects
Yep.
last time I was here.
It's,
Like
yeah,
in
that's
previous
right.
years, we didn't do apartment projects back then.
And what I'm
Right.
looking at is you've got a lot of apartments there
Yeah.
that they're going to be basically getting a break on that the other apartments and/or businesses don't have. Because you've got Danny's, Frank's across the street, that is a business that's been established. You've got the 2 gas stations on either side that sell coffee, and that's where they make their money. They don't make it on gas. So you got 2 gas stations that they're going to be competing with, and they're getting a tax break. So I just wanted to air that out now, because, and solar panels to me mean nothing. It's a brand-new bill. If he wants to go green, you can turn around and go geothermal. It's a little more costly, but it's greener than the solar panels. So that's my thoughts. Thank
This
you.
is similar to the one, Tom Sweeney's project right across the street. I mean, it's basically the same type of scenario. But when we looked at Tom Sweeney's project, we said and Lynn can probably answer this better than I can, but we consider that a historical type of things that wasn't happening in the village of Lancaster. So you got to move a little bit,
Right.
because we're here to develop. We're not here to be negative.
Right.
Well, that's going to develop
I
no
don't think,
matter
right,
what the
I don't
IGA
think that's
does.
Kevin's point. I think Kevin's point is that there are other
Right.
businesses in the area that didn't qualify, that are apartments
You're
or
under,
whatever.
I already know
get your
a
point.
couple examples where it happened, and this is, once again, the knowledge of the town. you know where it happened, and I don't want to see it happen to a business that's established. That's my point.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm all set.
Has the application been approved that I can release it to the board? Because I didn't get a
Yes.
response.
Yes. I think I wanted to wait until we had the conversation here before circling. One of the things we talked about when we started here was when do we engage the board with an application, right? And that was, okay, when we talk about the project, when we're ready to move it forward, I think the board needed the benefit of hearing from Mr. Alessi and having this discussion, right? Before we send this stuff out. So I think, yes, release it to the board, and if there are board members who have questions about the application, I'm readily available. I'm happy to talk to you about it.
Thanks, Kevin. Paul, any other new projects?
That's it.
Nothing, that's it? Okay, and we're retaining special counsel for a sealing device. We needed an approval on this. There's an engagement letter from Hodgson Russ that we're approving today to engage them for an IRS audit. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution? Motion by Member Lee Master. Second by Member Reno. Lisa, please take the roll.
Member Lee Master?
Yes.
Member McNichol?
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Ruda?
Yes.
Member Tadaro?
Yes.
Chair Bill?
Yes. Anything else? Kevin?
On the A, you want to receive and file, 6A?
6A? Kevin, I thought you said we didn't have anything to do with that.
Well, you just
Well, it's
received
on the
and
agenda, so I think just as a matter of course, we should acknowledge that
Okay. So we're
documents were included.
Need a motion to receive and file the Fairways lease termination.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Member Tadaro, seconded by Member Ruda. Lisa, can we have the roll, please?
Member Lee Master?
Yes.
Member McNichol?
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Ruda?
Yes.
Member Tadaro?
Yes.
Chair Bill?
Yes. Do we have to do the same with the amendment to correct the TOPS pilot, or no? That's not
There's nothing
necessary?
included here, that was just an oral report.
Okay, all right. Anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to schedule a meeting for October 28th at 3 o'clock PM with the purposes of speaking with Dave Minjoya from the AIDA regarding a proposal that was sent to Lida, and also to review and discuss the proposal that we received from Consult Econ.
Okay.
Motion.
Yep. Second by,
Whose motion? I got it.
motion by Member Tadaro, or are you going to make the motion?
I'll make the
You
motion.
make the motion,
I thought
okay?
you were making-
So then second by Member Tadaro.
it.
And Lisa, can we have the roll, please?
Member Lee Master?
Yes.
Member McNichol?
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Ruda?
Yes.
Member Tadaro?
Yes.
Chair Bill?
Yes.
Dino, make sure to get
Oh,
the
okay.
proposals that you're going to be reviewing.
Yeah, these are here,
I didn't
yeah, I'll
see a
give them to
dollar
you.
amount.
I have like 3 copies in
Yeah,
here.
you gotta have one for
Yeah.
Grant.
Yeah.
Make sure you take one for him.
Yeah, I've got 5 copies here. So
Okay.
I'll give you, I'm going to keep one for myself.
Do you want me to get one to Grant? I can do it. I'm going to see in the beginning of next week,
Okay.
as long as you're sure.
Do we want to try and have a representative from Consult Econ available to answer questions?
Yeah, I think that would make sense. Do you have a contact there?
There's one here.
Okay.
And the Amherst proposal.
That email was sent to you
Oh, I didn't get it yet.
just before the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
Okay, now I'm just curious on the next one here, what projects, the report, new project report from September 9th?
Yeah, what is
Till the
that? then?
14th, what are those?
Nobody did a motion to approve what Paul Muley was talking about with the projects.
You mean with the stars and all of those from last month?
The one, yeah, the ones he talked about.
Yeah, you just mentioned them, right? It was just more or less, they're not, nobody put applications?
No, I don't have anything yet,
Right.
no.
Yeah,
So we don't have to
okay.
take action on that.
So there's nothing-
There's no action, because I haven't got the application yet, and I haven't given it to Kevin yet.
Okay, no, that- we were
I'm
just
still
curious.
doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, it's just his report. It's
Right.
not an application.
Right.
Exactly.
But he did talk, so he can,
Make a motion to what, to just accept?
so, yeah, because it's a report like from the other committees. 'Cause you
Yeah,
did it-
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I'll take a
Okay.
motion to
Kevin, make
accept
the
it,
motion.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, second by Member McNichol. Lisa, please take the roll.
Member Lee Master?
Yes.
Member McNichol?
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Ruda?
Yes.
Member Tadaro?
Yes.
Chair Bill?
Yes. The public comment?
Just as a public comment, if anybody has driven down Commerce Parkway, a project that we worked on, Kevin and I worked on quite extensively, the company that's moving from Genesee Street They opt not to go to the IDA because they didn't want to make some of the stuff that was in the application. So we met with them several times, but that project is still going forward. It's going up. It's almost 50% done. So it's not an IDA project anymore, but it's coming out of the city of Buffalo, so we don't have to do anything. Just to let you know, even though they didn't come to us, we had a lot to do with that one, so, but she did not want to do it. And the owner is a CPA, and she was very concerned at some of the questions that we asked, so, but it's still going up. And Casilio is the developer, who sold them the land also, so. It's a great company, too.
It was a printing business, correct?
I'm
Is
sorry.
it a printing business coming? Is that the one you talked about? No?
Frank, you would probably, they make the neon signs and all
Yeah,
that.
there's some type of printing business, I thought you said. It doesn't matter.
From the city of Buffalo?
They're in Buffalo, 1352 Genesee Street.
Is that Yost?
So, they make neon signs and stuff like that.
Neon
Like the light signs that you see up at the Sabres, or with all, the do this and do
All the
that.
tubing light.
Yeah, yeah. But it's one that we did, but we didn't do it, as far as IDA benefits.
Brought it to Lancaster.
Got them in Lancaster, yes.
It's good.
Yes.
Anything else? No? Good. Need a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn the
Motion to
meeting.
adjourn by Member Reno, second by Member McNichol. Lisa, take the roll, please.
Member Leemaster?
Yes.
Member McNichol?
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Ruda?
Yes.
Member Dodaro?
Yes.
Chair Vidal?
Yes.
The world stood still.
I know, sorry, everyone. My youngest is home alone. I'm gonna need another one for my CPG.
Give it to me now. Copy me,
Mike, you got checks for her?
because we had
Good.
I was like, I'm not sure.
I don't want Kevin hitting me.
3,000, and it failed.
Can't afford you, Paul. Too
It
expensive.
was,
It's okay.
I came in with the iron fist that morning.
Hey, Lisa, did you ever get copies of the, or do we have upstairs copies of that Gustav Diesel deal?
Are we on record?
I don't know if we're off record or not.
No, not just the pilot. I'm
Thanks,
looking for the
Mike.
leases.
And I'll check.
We're not gonna try to come
I think you looked already. I'm just coming back because they don't
It's on
have
the
them.
record.
No. The lawyers don't have them.
I know.
I mean, if they can call
I,
me,
I'll
what are you?
I know
Okay.
whatever I sent.
You could look. I know, you probably look and just double check again, because we're looking for, there's probably a company lease and then an agency lease. Could be 2 documents.
I've got a whole big file.
I just knocked that out.
It's the permit document.
Did you go to the closing?
No, I never go to closing.
I know you don't, so then you don't have what I need. I
I
need to
thought,
sign that.
yeah, see, and Rich did.
I know, and Rich is not responding to me because it's embarrassing.
You know, you're
you know?
I don't want to listen to you tell me to holler at me.
That was my spare piece.
Yeah, but we're meeting with Dave and Joy regarding the insurance thing. He was talking about quite a bit.
Busy month, right, Mike?
Thanks for all your help on all the different issues.
Yeah.
That-
Oh,
those-
don't let him leave. I need him to sign. You can't leave.
You need me?
I need you to sign something.
You got it produced?